Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome today to the Marvel Champions content progression guide for 2019. Now, what this guide aims to do is outline how to progress in Marvel Contest of Champions, all the way from Act 1, you're a complete rookie, a beginner, all the way up to 100% Labyrinth of Legends, because there's so much stuff to do in the game, there's so much content, and for a lot of people, they struggle, whether to focus on like this or that. So this guide, in my kind of personal experience going through the game in 2 accounts and kind of mentoring a lot of people through the game, lines out the best way to progress all the way from Act 1 to 100% Labyrinth of Legends. But there are, various factors when it comes to progression that we're going to be talking about in a little bit of detail as we go through this guide. Now, also, one thing to note about this guide, and a link to it will be available both in the description and I'll probably put it in the comments section as well, is that we have a brand new video help section because, over the last year and a bit, I've done, progress through the entire game again on a completely free-to-play account. So we've got some great streams where we're going through all of the content with, like, much weaker champions than you're supposed to. So for a lot of this stuff, it's just very, very useful, very clean runs for a lot of it. If you're stuck on a various chapter or a bit of content, I thought I'd just kind of archive it all within this guide. So if you're a little bit stuck, and also include links to various video guides that we've done for content and chapters. So, if you get to something like, let's say, I don't know, Ultron's Assault variant chapter 1 and you're a little bit stuck, you can watch a stream or a guide, or Labyrinth of Legends. We've got tons of stuff for Act 5 and endgame content, and also some of the stuff from the early days on the free-to-play as well. So yeah, a lot of video links to help you if you do get stuck there. But anyway, let's have a bit of a chat about some of the early stuff. Again, we are going from the very beginning of the game right until Labyrinth of Legends. So first up in your list is Act 1 completion. Act 1 exploration can be worth it for some people. If you need the 3-star and also the units, it's like not a bad option to do because it's very cheap in terms of the energy. So yeah, Act 1 completion is the given first thing. And then the monthly event beginner completion is often worth doing most months just for the units really, and also the very small stack of premium shards, but not super worth it there, but a good stepping stone after Act 1 completion to get a few more resources there. And then number 3, we have the completion of Act 2, but also something very important for a lot of players. The exploration of Act 2 is just really not worth it. It's very time consuming, it costs a lot of energy, and it's for a 3-star champion, and there's just much easier content and ways that you can get a 3-star champion. Like, the kind of effort is just much better invested in something like Arena, or the monthly event normal. So you've got monthly event normal completion after that. Monthly event 100% normal exploration, but you can probably ignore focusing on the monthly event normal exploration once you are able to 100% it on heroic difficulty. Then it's kind of not really worth doing because it's got a tier 1 alpha, a 3-star as rewards, but it becomes redundant very quickly. Now, point number 6, we have, and this is quite important kind of at this level of gameplay, is if you haven't already, when you want to unlock and start learning how to parry and also dexterity, aka evade. These are like cornerstones of Marvel Contest of Champions. And if you don't start learning at this point, then you're going to have a massive struggle. Ideally, as soon as you start the game, you want to unlock these and learn how to do them both as quickly as possible, because they are just absolute cornerstones of the gameplay, and you're, activating super hard mode if you're trying to play the game without these masteries. And also, in terms of the spreadsheet, we have Dork Lessons tutorials on how to parry and how to evade attach, but, just practice on kind of all forms of content. But this is a very good time to kind of unlock them, because it's going to help you tremendously throughout your progression. And then at number 7, we've got Act 3 completion, so that's getting Thanos down. Everything in Act 3 is fairly straightforward. Then you've got monthly event heroic completion that you want to make sure you're smashing out every single month. Then you've got Act 3 100% exploration to get that kind of guaranteed 4-star. Arguably for What is it? Some months, even though it's a little bit more difficult, the monthly event heroic 100% exploration could be a priority for some people if it's pretty straightforward. But these two are just great to get done as soon as possible. And exploring heroic every single month with a monthly event quest will give you like half a 4-star champion. So that's good to kind of, start clocking up and working toward, laying that base foundation for your 4-star roster as soon as possible there. And then we have the next section, which is ideally, at this point you've got maxed out 3-star champions or 4-star champions that are like rank 2 and above, and then you're gonna want to have your eyes on Act 4 completion. And it's worth noting as well that Act 4 has some crazy experience points, so it's a very, very good time if you want to make max use of those XP boosts for kind of like a mega result in terms of those levels. So yeah, Act 4 is absolutely insane for experience, but for Act 4 you don't want to focus on 100% at the start. You just want to go for the completion. You want to get to Maestro as quickly as possible, because a lot of Act 4, in terms of the chapters, every chapter kind of has an easy path to do. So yeah, make sure you kind of scout ahead, take that easy path, and get to Maestro, and just focus on the completion, and don't worry about exploration for a while. And then we got monthly event quest master mode completion, which is a great thing to try and smash out every single month. Generally it's a little bit more difficult than Maestro, or kind of at the same level of difficulty, but yeah, it really depends on the month in terms of how difficult it is. But once you can start doing the master mode completion, you're going to be racking in all sorts of rewards, even more 4-star shards as well, 500 for the completion. So again, it's going to, help your 4-star roster grow. And once you've done the completion, you want to focus on the exploration. And I think one thing worth noting is that it's just worthwhile, even if you can't do 100% in master mode, to push for 100% in every single chapter, because chapter 1 is like fairly straightforward to 100%. Chapter 2, a little bit more difficult, kind of intermediate difficulty, but the final chapter in master is usually significantly more difficult than the first two. So usually if you can do completion, it's a good idea to 100% explore the first 2 chapters as well, because doing each chapter is going to give you, I believe, another 500 4-star shards as well, which again is a very, very good time. So you always want to push as much as you can in master mode on a monthly basis for those sweet, sweet rewards. And then next up, we have 2 things that can take a little bit of time. So the first one is Act 4 Exploration, which is probably, straight up the most long and tedious thing in the entire game. Like, Act 4 Exploration, there are so many paths, it's so expensive energy-wise, and on my free-to-play account, which I've done pretty much everything in the game apart from Act 4 Exploration, like, I still haven't done it, man. It's something that I put on the back burner, because it's very long to do, and the rewards are a little bit outdated if you've got the skills to kind of, like, push past it. So it's suggested to delay this if you have the skills to kind of push for an initial Act 5 Chapter 2 completion and get the Uncollected title. So yeah, Act 4 Exploration, very long, very tedious, but if you need that practice, like, it's a good time. There's a lot of fights, it can give you that practice you need to become a better player and learn a lot of the animations and timings. So something to potentially think about there. And then we have number 15, Realm of Legends, which is, good to do, good to get done, because you get a lot of tier 4 basics and tier 1 alpha. You get Ronin, Cyclops, and Rhino, but really only Ronin's useful for like occasional monthly events and cheese tactics. So the rewards for it aren't that great, but Realm of Legends isn't really that much hassle once you are fully aware of how to parry and dexterity, and you come in prepared, because you just need a good damage dealer, a way to deal with Wolverine. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward for the majority of people there. And then at number 16, we have Act 5 Chapter 1 completion. This is kind of a nice ease into Act 5. Act 5 Chapter 1 is definitely once you get used to some of the nodes and what you're trying to do, very, very straightforward in comparison to the rest of Act 5 Chapter 1, although the final quest is a little bit of a pain in the ass and step up in terms of difficulty. And then Act 5 Chapter 2 completion. This is the big one, and this is where a lot of players get a little bit stuck, because there are some very annoying nodes to fight in this. Masochism, Bane, and also Buffet all present challenges. So a very important thing to do is just kind of practice against those nodes. Just keep on going in, just getting as far as you can, learning how to fight the nodes, learning how to play around them, watching live streams, consuming as much information as you can, and then hopefully you can get to the collector and get him down. And that is kind of a big goal for a lot of people, because that's going to give you the Uncollected title. That's going to unlock Uncollected difficulty. You get upgraded crystals, you get an upgraded calendar, you get upgraded free rewards, like on what was it, Christmas Day. Everyone that had Uncollected got a 5-star Awakening Gem as well. So yeah, there are so many benefits to becoming Uncollected that it really is a very important bit in the game to try and push to as fast as you possibly can. So it's just something to, you know, keep in mind there. Act 5 Chapter 2 is very, very lucrative, but a massive mission in terms of the step up of difficulty in comparison to Act 4 there. And then once you've got Uncollected, your goal then is to complete the Uncollected event quest every single month, and then focus on exploring it, because the rewards for Uncollected every single month are absolutely insane. You know, if I just bring them up on the game just very, very quickly to show you what you get every month for doing 100% Uncollected, it's like 7,000 500 5-star shards kind of split across the chapters. Just for the completion of it, it is like almost, what is it, it's 1 4-star character and a bit, and doing 100% as well gives you 2,500 6-star shards. So doing it 100% for 4 months is going to give you a 6-star character. You got tier 5 basic, tier 4 CC, tier 2 alpha. So yeah, the rewards are just absolutely crazy for doing Uncollected, but pushing as far as you can in it every single month. You know, even if you're not able to do the final chapter, if you're just able to do the first 2 in terms of completion, that's 4 quests, pretty much for a 4-star champion there, which could be very, very good at that point in the game. So yeah, you just want to get Uncollected as soon as you possibly can there. And then what is next? So it's always a good idea next to have a stack of units saved up at this point in the game, because there are lots of occasional challenge events that usually come like every couple of months, stuff like celebrity challenges, champion challenges, you've got boss rushes, all sorts of bits and bobs. So yeah, just have a stack of units saved up, and if these challenges pop up, because they're only a limited amount of time, and that's kind of an important thing to bear in mind as well for the monthly stuff, is that there's static content, like the act stuff is always going to be there, but the monthly stuff is, you know, only there for a set period of time. So you always want to focus your attention on content that has content and rewards that have a limited time attached to them. So yeah, just important to keep in mind there. And then after that, so you are at this point where you got a nice stash of units, you're smashing out Uncollected 100% every single month. What is to focus on next? It's the Act 5 Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 completion. Again, if you've handled like the Collector and everything up to it so far, it's not really going to be a huge step up in terms of difficulty. There are some characters that are a little bit of a pain in the ass. You know, you've got very stacked Ultron, Mephisto and MODOK in the later half of it, but it's really not too bad to deal with and gives you very, very nice rewards for getting this one done. And then it's all about doing Act 5 100% from then on out. And my suggested order, just in terms of kind of like effort versus rewards, is 5.1, very, very straightforward. 5.4, a bit of a step up, but everything's relatively manageable. 5.3 is a bit of a pain, but there's some very good rewards attached to it. 5.3 is probably the most tedious overall, I would say, to do, because, you know, you've got 50% attack reduction in all of the chapters. Like, I really don't like 5.3 personally, not a big fan of that at all. And then 5.2, 100%, the rewards, like, really aren't great for it, and the thing that makes it very annoying for most people is doing the collector, what is it, another 5 times, man. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's a good one to end the Act 5 100% on, in my opinion. But again, that's my suggested order. You can do it in any order you want, but that is the way that I found best to do it when I was progressing through it on the free-to-play account. And then after that, we have Road to the Labyrinth of Legends, and it's very worth noting that the rewards for the Road to Labyrinth of Legends suck, but it's needed to unlock Labyrinth. So Road to Labyrinth of Legends, a lot of people make the very big mistake of trying to do this very, very early on, but it's just not worth it. The content, you know, when it comes to Chapter 4, which you have to do to get the fairly decent rewards, is like the equivalent difficulty of a lot of Act 5 stuff, but Act 5 stuff has like 10 times better rewards. So, you know, just don't worry about Road to Labyrinth of Legends until you're ready to do Labyrinth of Legends. That is my best piece of advice for a lot of progressing players in the endgame of Marvel Contest of Champions. And then we have the The very difficult stuff toward the end of the game, where we have the 5-star 455s and above, ideally. So we've got ideally learning to intercept, or kind of, you know, learning the theory behind intercepting. This is a very good point to do it. Obviously, if you are an aspiring player, you can do this a little bit sooner in the game, and it's going to come much to your benefit. But this is the time, you know, if you're going for Labyrinth of Legends, it's just very, very beneficial to learn how to intercept. But you don't need to. You can still, you know, get through this content, but it's going to cost you a little bit more if you haven't been picking up those intercepting lessons there. So yeah, we also got a link to Dave's guide to intercepting. And then it's a little bit debatable what you want to do next, because the two next things are really difficult. You've either got Labyrinth of Legends Initial Clear Easy Path, and by this time you will have done Act 5, and hopefully you've got a solid Rank 5, level 65 damage dealer, and if you have, then Labyrinth Initial Clear Easy Path is probably not going to be too much hassle for you. I did it on my free-to-play account. It took like 2 hours and 35 minutes of combat with a 30% boost active. So yeah, I've got a very, very clean Labyrinth run from last month if you want to check out the stream on that one. But then we have also Ultron's Assault variant, and the rewards, you know, are fairly similar in terms of their overall value for kind of both of these tasks at hand, but Ultron's Assault variant requires a bit more of a diverse roster, because you have champion limitations by class in each chapter, so you need to kind of plan out, and I've got video guides and also free-to-play streams for the first 2 chapters, not only a guide for the final chapter, but we're going to be doing a free-to-play stream very soon for that. So yeah, then you've got, you know, Labyrinth completion, Ultron's Assault variant completion, probably want to take it 1 chapter at a time there. Ultron's Assault variant chapter 100%. Like, Ultron's Assault variant, in terms of doing 100%, the rewards are absolutely mega for it. And it's definitely, in my opinion, better to prioritize over doing Labyrinth of Legends 100%, because Labyrinth of Legends 100% is a lot more expensive, and the rewards really aren't that great. And also doing Variant 100%, you get another rank 5 5-star champion, whereas Labyrinth of Legends, you just get the tier 2 alpha, which, you know, is alright, but it's becoming less and less useful. So the rewards, you know, it's better to focus on your resources, on efforts to do Variant before Labyrinth 100%. At least in my opinion. So yeah, we got streams on how to do this, but chapter 1 is pretty straightforward. Chapter 2 becomes a little bit more difficult. There are some very tricky fights in there, and chapter 3 is even more annoying, but a lot of difficulty in kind of these last 3 pieces of content. But you know, that's Marvel Contest of Champions Endgame for you. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, this rough spreadsheet to help you progress in Marvel Contest of Champions 2019. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you found it useful, feel free to smash that like button, and also share it with your alliance as well if they become a little bit stuck. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.